Hey everybody, it is late at night and I'm Norman. I'm doing this impromptu video because it just dawned on me that at this particular point in time, if I had to whittle my collection down to just 4 watches, I could actually do that and have a collection that I was happy with. Out of all the watches in my collection, there are 4 that I've been wearing by far the most. So let's go over what those are and why they would be in this super tiny collection. Let us begin. So the first watch in this collection is the Pole Router. I have always been a huge fan of the Pole Router ever since I stumbled upon these watches, and I don't really remember where I first encountered them. I do know that I mistakenly thought that Don Draper was wearing a Pole Router in Mad Men, but that was actually the Memo Vox, and that mistake actually caused me to be even more obsessed with these watches. However, I wasn't ready to get one. 1, the cost was prohibitive, and 2, I just wasn't quite ready for an expensive watch with an acrylic crystal. So I ended up purchasing a Certina DS that had a black dial with crosshairs on it, and silver around the edge of that dial, so it had sort of a Pole Router-y aesthetic to it, but it was a contemporary sized watch. I think it was 40 millimeters, 39 millimeters, somewhere around there. So when I started going little, I ended up letting that watch go. And after purchasing other vintage watches, I was finally ready for an acrylic crystal on a somewhat expensive watch. And my wife allowed me to use some of the family funds to purchase it before it got sold. I did have to pay about 2/3 of that back, and the rest of it was considered a Christmas and birthday gift. So brutally, I couldn't wear this watch until after Christmas. So I had to sit there knowing it was in the house for a good couple months, I think it was, just not being able to wear it. So of course this watch would be in my 4-watch collection because this watch is the most special watch that I have in my collection. So of course it'd be in there. And it is still by far my all-time favorite watch design, period. I just love it. And this watch is performing really well. I put it on the time grapher just today and it's a few seconds slow. It's been serviced and just appears to be super healthy. The next watch that would go in this 4-watch collection, if you've seen my videos recently, you probably won't be surprised at all. I'm pretty sure you can guess what this watch would be. And yep, you would be right, the Tutor. I love this vintage oyster case on this. It's smaller than the contemporary 36 millimeter ones. I think this is 34. It's nice and thin and sleek. And it's super fun having a Rolex crown and case back on this watch. And I believe the case itself is actually a vintage Rolex case. And that was just how Tutor rolled back then. The silver tone of the dial is just amazing. It's just such a cool watch. I've been wearing it every single day. So this watch would definitely be in the 4-watch collection. And it's a great complement to the black dial of the Pole Router. So I have 2 of these sporty, dressy vintage pieces that are light and dark. Yeah, perfect. And they're both very healthy. The movement inside the Tutor is just amazing. Yeah. The 3rd watch in this make-believe collection is actually a quartz piece, and I love this watch. Of course, it is the Dolce Vita. And when I decided to purchase this watch, I had gone to the jewelry store to try on a Cartier Americaine, just to see if maybe I wanted to try and save up for one of those. However, as I was wandering around the store, I saw one of these in the case, and I fully expected to be able to walk out of that store with the watch on my wrist, because I was thinking for a quartz dress watch like this, technically a lady's watch is how it's sold, surely the cost would be somewhere around a Hamilton Bolton, right? No, not at all. These watches, even though they're quartz, are just as expensive as the automatic variants of the Dolce Vita. So I was not able to purchase the watch in the store. In fact, I couldn't even purchase it online on the gray market because I figured they would be cheap enough there for me to purchase one, but they hold their value better than I thought they would. I mean, it was a bit cheaper. It was definitely below retail, but yeah, it was still pretty expensive. However, I found a Black Friday coupon code, and that made it just cheap enough for me to empty the account and pick it up. And I purchased it so soon after visiting the store and trying one on the wrist that it feels like I did buy it at the store. That experience is so closely tied to this watch. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I don't mind that it's quartz at all. In fact, it makes it much easier to wear this watch more because I can just pick it up and put it on. And this size I feel is perfect for a tank style watch, in my opinion. And if you like the Dolce Vitas, there are larger variants, so you have options. But this watch would definitely be in a 4-watch collection. And the last watch, of course, is a sports watch because we have vintage pieces and dress pieces here, and dressy, sporty vintage pieces. But what about something that's tougher, something that can get wet? And you may be thinking that I'm going to go with the Everest for the 4th watch, but I'm actually not. The 4th watch in this proverbial collection is the Armita. And the reason I went with this watch is because I'm not always in the mood for the metal bracelet of the Everest. And I do like it on the metal bracelet because that gives it its explorer aesthetic. But I like the subdued rubber strap on this and the overall subdued appearance of this watch. So I end up being in the mood for this watch a little bit more than the Everest because of that. And with its 300 meters of water resistance, this thing is a beast in the water. I've always loved the mill sub aesthetic. Back when I was collecting nothing but dive watches, that was the only style that I really liked, was the old mill subs. There are so many watches in my collection that I absolutely love and would be heartbroken if I had to offload them. But if I was forced to, I feel like I would be content with this 4-watch collection. Thanks for watching.